What's poppin'? It's me, Mellow, and I wanted to talk. I want to have a little conversation. I'm feeling real inspired by the whole rap beef thing that's going on with the with the gals. The gals are fighting. And I've been feeling inspired. I'm not gonna lie, just listening to people being exposed for who they truly are and the things that they like to truly partake in behind closed doors. I've been feeling inspired, and I'm like, this is triggering topics that I already know. I said I was gonna talk about me and Spirit. I already chopped it up. Me and the ancestors. I already chopped it up and said that we was gonna talk about it. And so, yeah, I guess I just needed a little inspiration to actually fulfill that promise to Spirit. So yeah, now we're here. So today I want to talk about, the topic was gonna be like, she's not fast. He's a pedo. Um, I'm not sure if that's what I want to continue to call it, but just to give you just an idea, that's what we're gonna be discussing. Um, this whole ideology that like minor girls who by law don't have the right to consent sexually with grown ass men. These little girls, this notion that like these girls are fast, right? And it seems like us as a culture, us as a society, like we take the focus off of the real problem, which is grown ass men who like young ass girls. Now, I just want to say, like, obviously, I know that this is not exclusive to just men. There are grown ass women who like children as well, but we're not talking about those bitches. We're talking about men today, right now, in this moment, okay? So, like I said, it's just, where do I want to start? So I was seeing that Mr. Metro, he was also exposed for being a grown ass man who is attracted to minor girls, right? And it just had me thinking about like all the men I dated when I was a teenager. Hence, I said men, and we just put air quotations around dated because I just feel like you can't, as a teenager, you can't really be dating grown ass men. Like you can, but it's like nah. But it just had me thinking about all the niggas that I dated when I was a teenager, all the grown ass men, and how that was very normal for me. Like I didn't really see an issue with it because it was normal for me. Like that was my norm throughout my teenage years of like adult men being attracted to me, adult men asking for my number, adult men texting, calling, trying to communicate with me on Facebook at the time, adult men wanting to fornicate with me, adult men being obsessed with me, like just in like all total honesty. Yeah, like it was grown ass men. Like my boyfriends were grown adult men when I was a teenager, starting from like shit. And to be honest, like it started at 12. Um, it's just that first guy that I dated, was in a relationship with, he was still a teenager. He was a teenager himself, but he was just too old to be trying to call himself in a relationship and love a 12-year-old. Because I wasn't even a teenager yet. I mean, mind you, that was the first and last time I ever lied about my age because I just learned a lesson in that moment but I only lied and said I was 13. Mind you, this guy that I dated when I was 12, or this guy that I was in a relationship with when I was 12, he was 16 and he lied and told me he was 16 about to turn 17. He was 16 going on 17. He lied and told me he was 14. I was 12 and I lied and told him I was 13. He found out that I was actually 12 and not 13. That's good. That's not much of a difference. And he was okay with the fact that I was 12. Mind you, he lied and said he was 14. He was actually 16 going on 17. This was a guy who went to the local high school. He would ride his bike, like he would skip school, skip class, and ride his bike to come to the local middle school, which is where I was. And not only was he dating me, but he was fucking off with the other 6th and 7th grade girls. Mind you, he's 16 going on 17. We 12 and 13 in that hoe. And he was really the one that kind of like set off the snowball effect with like just older men, older guys, right? And so I just learned a lot. Looking back, I learned a lot. Now that I'm aware that like I was a victim and that like these adult men weren't actually my boyfriends, it's kind of like a mind fuck, especially knowing that like looking back, there was like feelings had for some of those men. There was one situation where I was like truly convinced that like he was that was gonna be my husband. Like, mind you, I was how old was I? 16, 15 when I met him, and yeah, that's it till I was like 16, and he was 10 years my senior, so he was 25, and then he turned 26. I was 15. And yeah, we was in a relationship and we used to talk on the phone a lot. And he used to like take the bus to the high school that I was at and he used to come see me. But like looking back, like obviously he knew he was wrong and he knew that like if he got caught his ass would get in trouble because he would wait until I got out of school, but he would be hiding in a tree. Like it was a park by our school, and he would hide in the tree up at the top so nobody would see him. Because now I'm like, oh yeah, seeing a grown ass man like you sitting at the fucking park by a school, yeah, you look pretty predatory, oh my god. So yeah, I see why he was hiding in the fucking tree. You would hide in the tree and wait till I got out of school. And this man was my boyfriend. He even made us like matching bracelets and shit like that. It was pretty wild. Pretty wild. There were other adult men, legally adult men, starting from the age of 18 to niggas in their early to mid 20s. Who was all up in my grill, and it was like I don't think nobody ever called me fast to my face, but I'm pretty sure like people was calling me fast, and a lot of times it be women who will call young girls fast. And it's something that's like not really spoken about, but there's a lot of older women who are envy of the attention that young girls and women get. Not just young women in my age range, which is mid to late 20s, but just younger girls and women in general. So yes, a pretty teenage girl could strike some type of like some type of like it could strike their ego. It could do something to them. Just any woman or girl who is getting attention, especially getting more attention than they normally would, then that does something to a lot of women's egos, to their self-esteem, because they want to be the one in the shoes that's getting the attention. Um, like I said, that applies to a lot of older women. It even applies to women when it comes to their own goddamn daughters. So, yeah. Um, I got a lot of attention as a teenage girl from men, and I feel like that within itself would cause other people to look at me and make it seem like I was the one that was being fast or promiscuous. Now, I do want to address the elephant in the room, which is there are some young girls who experience being hypersexual. However, a lot of times, if not damn near all the motherfucking times, hypersexuality comes from trauma. So a lot of times when young girls, when young teenage girls are hypersexual, it's because they've already been sexualized and objectified in their childhood at some point in time. And I can say that because I've been there, I lived that. I was objectified and sexualized as a child, and that shit just followed me throughout my damn life, like throughout being a teenager and throughout being a young woman. I'm able to balance out that energy better now as a young woman. But, oh my God, like, bruh, the fact that that bird just came that close to me. I thought I was out of here. Let me catch my bro. It ain't even, my breath ain't even, it's just damn, like that bird. That was definitely a message for me. And then the red bird just flew by. That was definitely a message for me. I'm talking about that bird just got so close. And birds don't normally get that close to humans. And I know birds fuck with me, but that bird got super close. And that bitch scared the fuck out of me. I ain't gonna lie. It scared the fuck out of me. You see, you didn't even see it, but it's like my spirit had jumped first. She left first. And then my body got hooked. So I had to bring her back instead of her down. The spirit. Yeah. Goddamn. And it's like I don't really know how to edit, so this gonna be in the video. So like, yeah. Alright. Anyways, like I was saying, I know I was talking about young girls and young women being hypersexual due to trauma. I experienced being hypersexual as a young girl, young adult. And like I said, that was due to me being objectified and sexualized as a child. Like, and it started from men seeing me and being attracted to me. And I can remember as a child certain moments looking back at like remembering the way a man looked at me and me feeling uncomfortable as a child. Like I can literally remember, I can think back to the first time a man looked at me and it made me feel uncomfortable, and I was 5 years old. I was 5 motherfucking years old, and I had on this. At that time, it was popular for young girls to have on underdresses underneath their dresses. Like it kind of looked it was like a little silk or satin piece of like fabric, you know. It looked like a little dress, little straps. It might have had a piece of little lace just in case like the dress has like a V cut and the lace will show through. So for me, being a young girl and watching my mama and her female friends, I just imitated what I seen, which was being like at that time, you know what I'm saying, they transitioning from the late 90s to the early 2000s. I hear you, birdies. And they were like very ultra feminine and like very just like, you know, the late 90s, early 2000s, like our mamas was showing skin and popping ass, and like I watched my mama like in that phase, and of course I wanted to imitate that to some extent. And so when it came to like oh, my mama got like a little lingerie dress on when she walked around the house, not on no like sexy shit, but it's like during that time it was popular that like that's a nightgown to just walk around the house in. I imitated my mama by wearing my underdress, like is like a lounge dress around the house because I was that bitch. Even at that age, I was that bitch. And I remember her inviting this guy over that I guess she had been talking to for a while, and cause she didn't really just invite niggas around. She didn't just have men around me. Like even if she was dating niggas, like she didn't just have men around me. Um, and I guess she had been talking to this guy in particular for a while, so she decided to invite him to the house. I remember, and I remember him sitting on the couch with her, me coming out of my room with my little lounge dress on, and I remember like him like looking at me in a way that made me feel uncomfortable in that moment, and I remember like I can just remember the feeling. I remember like shrinking up in the inside and just like wanting to like hide my stuff. I remember just like the look on his face and the energy that I felt from this grown ass man as a 5-year-old child, and him looking at me as if like he liked what he saw. I remember feeling like that and thinking that as a child. And for me to like even think some shit like that as a child, like I know that like that's exactly what the fuck it was. And that was nothing but spirit, the divine, my ancestors like sending messages even in that moment, and that's what the fuck it was. And I'm pretty sure if I caught on to that as a 5-year-old child, my mama caught on to that shit too as a grown ass woman. And I promise, like, whether she did or not, I never seen that man again ever. Like that time that he looked at me like he wanted me as a child, like I never seen that nigga again ever, never. So that's the way it should be. Um, and it should be like that all the time. It just be like that on one occasion. I say all that to say really like I feel like us as women we need to do a better job for one protecting young girls, putting them on game and telling them stories like this so they'll know that like these grown ass niggas that's in your face and they trying to pop this game to you, like it's nothing but game. And like these are not men who actually genuinely care about you and like want to be with you. These are grown ass men who are pedophiles, and the only reason why they popping this shit to you because you are a young, naive mind, and they feel like whatever that they can't do, the manipulation and the game that they can't run on grown women who can't see them for who they truly are, they can do that to a young girl. They can do that to. That's really what it be like that. A lot of times that's what it be like. Niggas know that shit not gonna slide with grown ass women. The whatever type of weird ass love vibration shit they trying to do, they know that shit not gonna slide. And so, and then sometimes it's not that. Sometimes niggas are just sick and they just like little girls. I mean, a lot of times that's what it be. I mean, it can be both. Like they kind of one and the same, but there's still like a differentiation. There's still a differentiation between the two, but they still one and the same though. Regardless of what the fuck his reason is on why he wants to choose a child and not an adult woman. And I just feel like I said, us as women, I feel like we need to kind of take more accountability and responsibility when it comes to these young girls and really put them on game and tell them what the fuck it is. And not be sugarcoating shit or not just not saying shit. Because there's so many things that if one of my sisters or just an older girl, an older woman, if they would have just sat down and like just kept that shit 100 with me, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't have had to experience. I wouldn't have had to go through. Now I will say that I am grateful for every experience, whether good or bad. I'm grateful for every experience that I've had in this life because it has molded me, and I am very wise for all the trauma that I've experienced, and I'm able to help other people, young and old. I'm able to help a lot of people just due to all the shit that I've been through. I can speak from a lot of perspectives. I've been all over the fucking spectrum when it comes to low and high vibrational. And so I know that like my reason, my purpose, I know that all the shit that I've been through, that I've experienced, and things that I've had to heal from and are still healing from, I know that like that's a part of my transmutation and like alchemy and like helping other people and telling other people like this is what the fuck is up type shit. And so yeah, like that's what I'm doing in this sense, and I'm gonna continue to do as I'm like calling led when it comes to that. When it comes to any motherfucking thing, anything, spirit, my higher self say, "Hey, I need you to speak on this." I'm gonna speak on it because I got the motherfucking experience to speak on this shit. I'm not gonna speak on nothing that I can't speak on. So, um, but I also say that to say a lot of other women need to tell your story, sis. You need to tell your story, sis, because it didn't take me until I became an adult to, for my perspective to switch around, and for me to see that like I was a victim. These niggas were predators, and then it took even longer for me to like accept that shit and like be okay with like that's what it was, and to like forgive myself. And it's a whole process, it's a whole journey, but it's worth addressing, because if you don't, there's always gonna be some type of weird, icky, like closeted feeling attached to that shit. And I can say that because I experienced it until I really addressed it head on, one-on-one. Like, alright, like this is no longer a demon that I'm going to allow to dictate my life. And like it came to the point where I couldn't no longer like ignore that part of my journey, because as much as I tried to push it to the back burner, like spirit was like, no, in order for you to do what is needed in this next phase of your journey, in order for us to continue to elevate you, we need you to address this shit. We need you to look at this. We need you to go through this. And like I went through that shit, and I went through it in a very, very, very unique way. So unique that like one of my predator boyfriends ended up coming back into my life for a very short time, and end up triggering things. And before I end up getting back into communication with him, I seen one of my other predator boyfriends at the store. And so I had seen them literally like a week or two apart. I think I had seen, damn. I seen one of the dudes that I dated while I was 17 first. Is that how I went? One of them niggas I seen first, and then one of them niggas I seen 2 weeks later. And I end up actually giving my number to one of the other niggas, and was thinking like, why the fuck did I give my number to this nigga? Mind you, that was before I even processed that like, oh, this is one of my predator boyfriends. That was before I even processed it. But with allowing him to be in my energy temporarily, I had to process that shit. And that's probably just the purpose that he served, especially since I had seen the other nigga the week before that, and I had got really triggered by seeing him. And so I just feel like a lot of us need to tell our stories, and we just need to speak on it. Like, it don't even have to be on no expose shit. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's what you want to do. Like, do you, sis? I wouldn't always like recommend something like that. Just the simple fact that like safety first. Um, Safety is always a priority, and that's something that you always have to take in consideration when it comes to talking about things that people have done to you in the public eye. So, because I've been wanting to say some things for a long time. I've been wanting to say some things for years on certain people. And then there's other people that I'm just allowing like things to just kind of rack up on them. But there's certain people that are like known within Memphis who I know to be predators because I have dated them while I was a teenager and while they were legally an adult. Um, Two people in particularly that come to mind. Well, really three, but this person is dead now. So, I mean, it kind of matters, but it don't. But just due to the fact that he dead, I'm just, yeah. And it definitely ain't Dolph. I don't, people be weird. But I just wanted to have that out there. Um, but it's just like I said, I guess I just want to re-emphasize that we need to tell our stories. There are a lot of women my age, older and younger, that dealt with being in relationships with grown ass men who really was only there to take advantage of us and to get something out of us, to use us. um, and we were young children, we were minors. A lot of these men stole from us. They robbed us of our innocence. Um, and it's not okay. It's not fair, and it's definitely not our fault. But it's something that a lot of us need to talk about, even if it's just with ourselves. If it's with a therapist, if it's with a friend, long as it's with somebody safe and somebody who, if not understand, is able to just empathize. Because there is something to unpack, even if you don't really see yourself as a victim right now in this moment, and you look back and you're like, oh, I love that nigga. But that all could be fine and true and dandy. Multiple things can be true at once. He could have been a predator and you could have still loved him. Um, so yeah, it's something to be unpacked for sure. Um, and then, man, like when we see that shit with other young girls, or I don't. We can just be honest with ourselves. We can just look at some young girls, and either we could see it in the moment with men around her, or we could just see it on her that she would be the type of young girl that would attract the attention of adult men. Um, Sometimes it's appropriate to kind of just, you know what I'm saying, hey sis, be careful. Use your discernment when it comes to these men. Don't listen to everything that these niggas gotta tell you. These niggas will butter you up. They will sweet talk you. They will make you feel special. Like these men who, these men who steal from these young girls, they know who to go to. They know who to get it from. It is, the mentality is very fucking similar to a nigga who would be a P, who would be a pimp. The mentality is the same as far as like who they would scope out. They would pay attention to your dynamics, and if somebody is paying attention to you, if you have a father figure, if you got somebody that's guiding you, somebody that's loving you, somebody that's telling you that watch out for niggas like them, a lot of times they're not gonna go for those types of girls who have somebody like that in their corner who's gonna let them know. They'll go for the type of girl that I was growing up, that had a single mother, no father, and you know, I ain't gotta go too deep and give you a bio, but just the basics of like, I ain't really had nobody in my ear, in my corner, telling me watch out for niggas like them. These types of niggas are the type of niggas that are going to try to get you. They're gonna try to get you. They're gonna try to turn you out. And thinking back, it just, I mean, just thinking back on my life in general, but considering those were the earlier parts of my years, like, it just goes to show how motherfucking heavily covered and protected I've always been before I even came to this realm. Like it just shows because there's so many things that could have happened to me during those years when like things was going on. I was talking to niggas. I was sneaking out and shit, and you know what I'm saying. Different things was going on, and when nobody really didn't nobody know. Um, ain't nobody know where I was at certain times, and anything could have happened. Basically, is what I'm saying. Anything could have happened to me. I could be in any type of predicament now, and I'm not. Like, I didn't have a fucking child at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, or 17. Thank God. But it was very much so possible and likely to happen. Like, it very much so could have happened on multiple occasions. Um, as many times as I had been in risky situations with grown men and been sexually assaulted by grown men, I didn't get nothing from these niggas, thank God. And so it's just like, and I wasn't trafficked, which could have happened, especially like I said, these niggas come with the mentality of a P in the way they try to, get into your mind and convince you that they actually care about you and they actually love you. Like I can't remember specifically, like now I say his name because I mean this name is a common name. So this dude named Justin. I met Justin. I was 13 and Justin was 18. Justin lived in the apartments, and Justin was like the apartments predator. Like I paid attention to Justin even then, and I knew Justin loved the middle school girls. Like he loved the 12 and 13-year-old girls in the apartments. Loved them. Like Justin was one of them niggas that would wait until we got out of school. Like he would be outside sitting on the steps, on the apartment steps, waiting for us to get out of school. If we would be at the pool, he would be sitting outside because his apartments face the pool. His apartment steps face the pool, so the nigga would just be sitting outside looking at the young girls in the pool, half dressed. And he would make conversation with all the young girls in the apartment. And he had his favorites, the ones that he was like, okay, I'm gonna test her to see what all I can do, and I was one of those girls. And yeah, like I remember his tactics and like the things he would say, trying to make me feel special, trying to make me feel important, but mainly trying to make me feel needed and wanted, and like he really like it was me that he needed. Like mind you, I'm 13, he was 18. I can specifically remember like he used to watch us, like I said. So he used to watch me before he even approached me. And the day he approached me, we was coming back from the pool, and he asked me how old I was, and I told him I was 13. And his words to me was, "I'm gonna have to wait until you turn 14 to do the things that I want to do to you." But he didn't wait until I turned 14, and I'm gonna just leave that there. But I brought up Justin in that situation just to emphasize on the fact that the things he was saying to me as a 13-year-old child and him as an 18 legally adult male who is out of high school, he's lived a long enough life to know that him telling me, oh, baby, I need you, I want you, like please come see me, please come over, like I really need you right now. He know what that would do. He know that that's mental manipulation and emotional manipulation, but mostly mental manipulation. Like he understood that. He understood that like that would make me under the impression that like, oh, this nigga actually need me, like he actually want me, like he actually blah blah blah. This is the shit that we're not talking about. These are the niggas that we're not talking about, and that's where my problem lies. It's no more blaming the girls, the young women the inexperienced minors and young adults. It's no more blaming them. Like, we need to start blaming these grown ass men, even if these niggas are your friends, your brothers, your nigga. Even if he your nigga, if he your brother, if he your cousin, if he your friend, if he your daddy, if he your uncle, if he your, it doesn't matter who the fuck he is to you. Like, we need to start calling these niggas out because, like I said, like the niggas that I dated, these are men that you, if you look at them, if you look at them now, you wouldn't expect for these to be the niggas who was fucking on teenage girls and forcing it at that. Like, no, you can't legally consent as a teenager to as a minor to an adult, but there is what you have consensual and non-consensual. So even if it was consensual, even if I agreed to the shit, even if I said yes, I was still a minor, so that would still be what it would be. But I'm a minor and it's non-consensual. Yeah, motherfucking tattoo artists and um, talent scouts. Yeah, talent scouts. Yeah, yeah. These other type of niggas. Rappers. Coaches. Oh, coaches. Can't forget about those niggas. Can't can't forget about those niggas. A lot of coaches, grade A pedophiles. A lot of high school coaches, grade A. But we ain't calling no names though. We ain't calling no names because even some of they asses is dead. Um, and I ain't even trying to make it seem like it's some on some respect the dead type shit, and that's why I ain't bringing it up. Nah, that ain't it. That ain't it. They just not worthy of it, dead or fucking alive. But the fact that they did, they definitely not worthy of the energy or the attention. Um, yeah, cause I just know that there are more women who know about these types of men that's around them, that's in their circle, men that they look up to, men that they listen to. Cause I mean, then we all hear about Trey Songz, and then how many bitches I seen on my Facebook page talking about seeing Trey Songz in concert when he came. Then we all hear about Trey Songz and his sexual assault cases and charges. Just because they were settled, that don't mean he didn't do that shit. Just because you ain't hear nothing else about the case, that don't mean he didn't do that shit. I'm just saying. So it's like some of these women don't even give a fuck. Even if these niggas was exposed for wanting to fuck on children, wanting to be in relationships with children, some of these bitches wouldn't even get no fuck. They'll find out and they'll still go get the service done. They'll still be at a nigga neck. And these men too know they niggas some pedophiles. Know they niggas file. They'll still be cool with the nigga. They'll still chop it up with the nigga. They'll still do business with the nigga. They'll still do business with the nigga. Knowing what type of shit. Mm. This is more like a rant kind of book. Oh well. It was a topic of discussion still, nevertheless. But these mosquitoes, tore my goddamn ankles up. I'm glad they ain't tore nothing else up though, and just the ankles. Yeah, I'm tired of scratching and stuff. So thanks for listening. If you made it this far to the video, it's the dawn of Aquarius. So these niggas who like children, who be fucking on children, who be trying to date children, be in relationships with children, these niggas in the hood. Now them be the ones. These niggas in the hood, these hood niggas that love the young ass girl. The nigga that's conveniently always outside when the bus pulls up, or when children get out of school, when they walking down the street. These are the type of niggas that as a collective, as a community, these are the type of niggas that we need to start dealing with as a collective, as a community. These are the type of niggas that we need to start dealing with ourselves. Start dealing with these niggas, okay? And you can read in between the lines. You can take that how you want to take it. Do y'all remember the original reason for games before they became like useless and ignorant and just like reckless and dumb? Do y'all remember the original reasons for games? It was to do what? Protect our community. Who's to protect the community when the niggas in the community is the ones that we gotta be protected from?